Hey everybody, welcome to Example of Play. In this video, I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be trying out Eve Frontier, the new version that just dropped today, and they just dropped the NDA that's been on this game for the last few months. So I've played it a little bit before, but now I can actually talk about it and do a video on it. If you have no idea what this game is, or if you haven't seen it before, this is kind of a spin-off, a new iteration of Eve Online, the space MMO that's been around forever. The difference is that this game is more of a survival MMO. So it takes a lot of elements from like online survival games where you're kind of carving out your stake in this universe. Where this game, compared to regular Eve, has kind of a darker vibe. It's a little bit more, it's a survival MMO. So everything's a little darker, a little more dangerous. You feel a little more lonely right from the start, though you can band together with other players. The new update includes a brand new version of the new player experience, so helping you get into the game. So in this video, I'm going to try that. I've played the game before, the earlier versions, but they were very restrictive in how much content was available. Is very early builds of the game, so they're still kind of working through things. But with this version, they're ready to let the world see it and let more people make videos about it and that kind of thing. So I'm going to give that a spin today, and we're just going to go into it and see what happens. Because, like I said, there's some new systems added to the game, some new functionality, and also a new kind of starting experience. So I'm going to try that out in this video. All right, so whenever you jump into the game, basically you just come here, you put in what name you want, and then a starting region. Before you could pick like a dozen different regions to start. Now they've narrowed it down to just three, so they're a little more focused on where the new players are going to start and what they're going to see. Looking at these, they're probably all basically the same, but I'm gonna go with that one. Sure, why not? We get a little opening cinematic thing here. Now with this E Frontier, it has a lot of interesting systems that they're bringing into the game. Things like using blockchain, being able to create some of your own items in the game, or like your own like program things in the game, like a store that's automated, or a gate that you control kind of what goes through it or not, based on how you program it. I don't know how to do any of that stuff yet, but maybe we'll get there eventually. But we're gonna start here just with the new player, the basics. All right, so welcome rider provided equipment sufficient for basic tasks. New vessel required to escape confines of solar system. Searching for material recommended. So we need to find some material to get out of this starter system. All right, so we need to refuel. Now this is very different from how it was before. Before you had like a little bitty starter ship, and you just kind of got told to go mine some resources, and that was about it. This is very different. We need refuel. Fuel is crucial to your survival on the frontier. Loot fuel from nearby wrecks. Refuel your ship. All right, so select a wreck, open its inventory, then drag items into your ship's inventory. Then open fuel in your HUD. Select fuel type, apply it to your reserves. All right, so we need to find. Okay, so we can zoom out, kind of see what's around us here a little bit. We're in a field of shipwrecks. We're close enough to open that one. All right, so we do have some unstable fuel in that one and some ores and things. And then we can see this is our inventory here. That's the freighter, so we will get that fuel for sure. And then there's some ore and stuff here. We'll leave that there for now. And then to refuel my ship, drop it in there, fuel compartment right there. All right, so now we've got some fuel. Now we need to gather some materials to build and survive. All right, so we could get some ore from that one wreck or go mine some, but we'll hit F3 to see our system map here, which this is new. It's a little different from how it was before, which that was one thing I do like seeing this, because before it was really hard to navigate, try to figure out where everything was and get to it. And yeah, now it actually shows you where you are. I don't think before, like, you had to figure out where am I? Where am I going? And it there. We'll see about just if there's enough ore here for us to get. Not quite enough. We'll just scoop up all this while we're here. So our cargo, we can only hold 520 cubic meters of cargo, so we'll scoop up what we can. We might have to drop stuff later. Another freighter there. Too far away, so. All right, our ship's automatically moving towards it. We can see here on the UI we have no shields, no armor. We have hull, and then down here's our speed, where we're going. We have a small cutting laser, so that'd be like for mining, repair, and an afterburner. Now, like in Eve, navigating your ship is kind of more moving to objects or kind of pointing where you want it to go. You don't have direct control, like you're not pushing buttons or anything to steer the ship for the most part, though you can get a little fancy with the controls. But we'll go ahead and scoop up some more common ore, more fuel. Yeah, we've already used up half of our cargo bay there, so. Then there was one other one. That one's someone else's ship, looks like. Or, I don't know, some other ship. It's not a wreck moving. See if we can find an asteroid out here somewhere. Carbon rock debris field. We'll see if that, we can mine some of that. Yeah, you can see the vibe is definitely different in this game. Much darker in general. A little more lonely. That's what they're going for, it feels like. You can see we're using some fuel when we warp like that, not a ton, but it is limited. That's kind of like your limiting factor a lot of times, is how much fuel you have available to you. All right, let's go over to this asteroid, see if we can mine it, get the kind of ore we're looking for. Well, it's going to be carbonicus ore, and we need common ore. Might need to double check on the map here. Oh, here's, okay, so towards the middle here, there's more stuff. Now this is, yeah, the first time this system is different than how it was before, so I'm kind of messing around here, learning the controls as I go. well, we will try mining this just to see what happens. Alright, so we need to lock on. I think there's a hotkey for that, but alright, we gotta load a charge into it, which we only have 2 mining lenses, so we need to make sure we don't waste them. Alright, so it looks like we're only getting carbonicus ore from this. Alright, so let's pause that. I don't want to get a bunch of ore that we don't need. Let's look around and see where this common ore is real quick. Alright, so jumping in here after a minute, I've searched around a bit, and then I realized in the very center of the map, near the sun, there were several objects. They're kind of smushed together, so now I found them. Now I'm in this asteroid cluster, which includes several different asteroids, but some common ore asteroids. There's also some rogue drones here. I don't want to get in a fight with them. I'll try to stay away from those, but I do need some common ore. You'll see here my system showing I'm getting a little overheated. I think that's because I'm probably close to the sun and also jumping around a bunch. That's a new system that they just added in this update, and I think the goal is to kind of have another thing for you to manage and also prevent you from just jumping around constantly. It kind of is a limiter on making constant warp jumps around. You can see there's an asteroid there, one there, and there's these rogue drones that are mining it, but maybe they'll let me have a spot at the table too. We'll see. Because I think I'm gaining heat, probably because I'm very close to the sun, as you can see there. But yeah, the graphics in this game, I love the style. They're still kind of a work in progress. The ship models, you'll notice, aren't super detailed. Or at least this one's a little more. The one that was in the first build of the game, it was definitely a placeholder. Like, it was just almost a little box with some stuff stuck on it. This one looks a little better. This is, yeah, a much bigger looking ship than before, but still very basic. I don't have a whole lot of systems or anything. But yeah, we're going to try to mine some stuff and get out of here before we get too hot. Or get in a fight with these drones. I don't know if they'll attack me or if they won't care. So the drones are kind of like the NPCs of this world, where they're kind of running wild. Okay, we'll go ahead and do some mining while we're here. Need to get a bit more to get to 50. Right now we want to build a refinery. And let us process some raw ore into resources. I don't know if we want to build it here because it seems like it's too hot here. Like we're getting hotter, not cooling off. I'm just going to mine as much as I can, then I'm going to jump away. Alright, we've filled up the cargo hold. Oh, now, okay, now we're dropping in temperature a little bit, so maybe it was just I'd made several jumps to get here. I'd accumulated a lot of heat. But we're going to maneuver over this way, so you can kind of just double click to maneuver to a point in space. You can kind of steer your ship that way, but you don't have direct control exactly. And this is B for the build menu, so the stuff we can build. Right now, of course, still kind of limited, but just a refinery is going to be the first thing we're going to build. And it seems like these drones don't mind me being around for the moment. I still want to kind of get clear of them. This should be good. All right, so we're going to build a refinery so we can refine our materials into stuff to use for manufacturing. See, there's a few different things we can build. We can build a refuge, a refinery, a portable refinery, a portable printer used to make things. Because again, this is like a survival game. Network node. So supports other structures within its range, but you have to put it at an unclaimed L point. So that's like, okay, that's like we can set up our home base. Which, yeah, I should show before we do that. We zoom out. Like in this system, there are a bunch of these L points. And so these, I guess, can be where you can kind of set up your base. If we want to zoom out more, go to the universe map. So you can see, yeah, this is where I am, this system. If we zoom out, these are all the stars in the kind of our starting area. But then this is how big the whole map, the whole universe is. It kind of goes on forever and ever. I don't know if right now every single dot is a place you can go to, or if they're limited. There's also lines between some of them, creating kind of routes to travel on, but we can't leave where we're at right now till we kind of complete the tutorial. But yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of space out there. So let's go ahead and build our refinery. It's gonna take 30 seconds for it to get built. Kind of plopping it down in space. You can build, it's pretty cheap to build. So you can put these in wherever you need them. You might even have multiple ones going. But this is our first step towards crafting some stuff. And again, this is still kind of the game in progress, so I'm sure it will change some more. Alright, so producing fuel. Without fuel, our ship's severely limited. Produce fuel to replenish your reserves. You may need to refine other materials before you can produce fuel. We need D1 fuel. Then, let's see. Oh, wait, stop. Oh. Oops, clicked wrong. Crashed. Trying to remember which button it is to actually take control of this thing. Alright, so I figured it out. There was a bug. The refinery, you couldn't interact with it. I had to log out and log back in to fix that. So again, this is a very early version of the game I'm playing that just got a huge update, so kind of expected to have some glitches. But now we can hit E to open that up. And then... Alright, so this is new. It's different from how it was before. So over here we have, this is the refinery. So over here, these are the things that we could refine. And then kind of the outputs that we would get. We refine ice, get D1 fuel, so that's what we want. You can see there's also D2 fuel, mummified clones that we could refine. I don't know about that, but I haven't. That's a new one. But we're just interested in some basic stuff. D1 fuel. So, but we don't have any ice right now. However, I think yes, we can refine common ore. Does not do it, but carbonicus ore, which luckily we did scoop up some of that earlier. That can be refined into carbonicus materials, but also water ice. So let's see. Put all that in. Yes. Trying to see if there's like a refine it all button. Alright, so we refined that ore into some ice. And then it looks like the rest is still in there. Each job's using up 10 of it. I'm sure they'll continue to update these systems as they go. It'd be nice if there was a button that was just like refine everything that I put in. That's going to take a little bit longer because we're processing 7 jobs instead of just 1. And then we can also, let's see, while we're just sitting here, H to see our personal assets. So that's like anything you build, you can hit that to remember where it was and go back to it. So I remember that was in the earlier builds, that was kind of tricky. You had to, they didn't really like show up on the map. You had to just kind of know what system they're in and remember where you'd put stuff and fly to it. And oh, X is our hotkey to lock on to stuff. So we're not gonna try not to get in any combat just yet, but to mine something you have to lock onto it. So X to do that. All right, now we have plenty of water ice and also some carbonicus material that we can maybe use for something else later. Now I can't switch because I still have that in there, so your refinery can only hold like one type of input at a time, looks like. We'll put all that ice in there. And oh, we need 1800 ice to even run that one time, so we're going to need quite a bit more carbonicus ore. Before we leave, I'm going to see if there's anything else that we could refine into water just while we're out there. Mummified clones, scoop the ice out of their mummified bodies, I guess. Okay, so we need some more carbonicus ore to do that. And then my hold is pretty full right now, so let's see if I can build a container to store some of this stuff. So there's industry here. There's other kinds of printers to build bigger things, bigger refineries, shipyards. I'm not going to be building a shipyard anytime soon, but we might get there eventually. Let's see if I can store stuff. Portable storage. Okay, that's what we need. Yes, we can build one of those. This is kind of bigger storage. Also, you can program this stuff, I guess, if you wanted to kind of automate things, get fancy later. But right now, we just need this portable storage. We need to move 8 meters away so we can build this. Move away the hair. And then I can't remember what this... Sure, there's a hotkey to stop, but it's backspace. I'll have to look those up here in a second. Alright, but we're going to stop here. And then we can build our storage, which you can kind of pick where you want it to go in space, because we don't want it to be too far away. Okay, that'll be fine. And then once that's built, it takes 2 minutes for it to build. While I was waiting on that, let's look at the map. Oop, not that map. System map. These common ore asteroids aren't going to have more of the carbonicus. We need to find that one was. Ferris cluster. So kind of getting used to navigating this. Okay, carbon rock debris field. So that's where we need to go once this gets done building. Which I'm not sure if I even have to stay here and wait for it to build or if it'll build on its own. Warp over there to that and we'll scoop up some more ore. Alright, good. And then we could even build a refinery right here if we wanted to, since it's not... It only takes 50 common ore to build it, so we'll plop down another one right here. Well, I guess I should have. I'm trying to cancel it. Not too late. I should have should have parked next to the asteroid before doing that, but oh well. We can dismantle it. Actually, yeah, we'll probably save some time in the long run, and we'll take it back apart. So we can build it and then take it apart. All right, we'll fly over to one of these asteroids first, then build it a little closer, save ourselves some travel time. And then building it here, we'll kind of mark this as my source for this kind of ore for now. And then since we're making fuel, we're not too worried about fuel, we'll turn on our afterburner to go a little faster. Going to increase our fuel consumption, but that's okay because we still have plenty. And we're about to be making some. And you know what? I built... I don't know, someone might have caught me before I caught it myself. I was building that storage container, then I left before putting all the stuff into it. But that's okay. We're going to be at the source now, so we'll just stick it into the refinery as we go. We're locking on. Now we're close enough to mine. Probably too close to build the refinery. Oh, no, I guess we can build it right here. Alright, this will work. We can just mine and refine all in one place. You can see our heat's dropped a bunch now, so yeah, being close to that sun, that's where we had to go to get those resources, but it kept us, we stabilized at the higher temperature, but it was overheating a bit. Alright, and then good, I can still interact with this one. So even as we're mining, can plop stuff in here. Till we have enough. I wish, oh, okay, we can't type it in there. Okay, we'll start that going, and that'll give us 984 ice, which plus that, still not quite enough. So yeah, we need quite a bit of ice to do our first fuel refining. Hey, no mind that we're firing our laser through there. I try to turn just for aesthetics. Bonk. I don't know if you can go backwards. Might have to get better at navigating with the ship. Alright, so I'll pause here for a second till we get this done. Alright, skipped a few minutes ahead there. I ended up going back and grabbing some more common ore so I could build a storage here. So I just got a storage and a refinery at each location to save a little back and forth time. Now, do have enough ice produced that we can generate our fuel. So yeah, you need 1800 ice to generate 450 D1 fuel, which hopefully this D1 fuel is going to be better, I assume, than the unstable fuel that we gathered at the beginning. And that's good enough to kind of get us around here, but there you need better types of fuel for kind of the higher level ships and for making warp jumps. So if we ever want to escape this system, we'll need better fuel And I'm not sure if this ship can even get out of the starting system or not. We'll see. In the old version, your starter ship could, but I don't know about this one. We'll have to try it out. We're learning as we go here. So now we can deliver our D1 fuel. Go. What's next? Now, build a storage. Yeah, we already did that. It helps to have some storage because the volume of stuff that you needed to accomplish that kind of it was way easier to build a storage first. Look at this D1 fuel and see if it says anything. So the game, yeah, it definitely has some sort of the vibe of some of the writing is a little bit interesting. The allure of crude matter brought computation and humanity to the frontier. Life reawakens, so too does the thirst for power in all its forms. But yeah, this is D1 fuel, just made from water. This product, inefficient as it is, still drives the smallest vessels of the frontier via its abundance and minimal cost. So I think we can still use it. I don't know if it's more efficient or just different produced versus being that unstable fuel that we scavenged at the beginning. All right, we already made a portable storage, which I didn't mention. If you look at it, it can hold 5,000 cubic meters, so it can hold 10 times as much as our ship can. And you can build more of them because they only cost 50 common ore, so you could build several of those if you needed to. All right, and we'll go one more step. We'll see if we can build a refuge. So the refuge provides fitting services for your ship. Build it close to your other assemblies for efficient operations. So the fittings are like the components on our ship. So we started with our little cutting laser for mining, afterburner, and hull repairer. Repairer. Let's see if we can build the refuge. Do we have what we need for it? It's right here. Okay, so the refuge, we need 50 metal rich ore. Now I think I saw a metal rich asteroid before. I don't know if on this screen it'd be nice if you could just kind of search the search button here. Oh, search is disabled. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could just come here and search for metal rich or asteroid and have it show it to us or have a list or something here, but maybe that'll come later. I'm pretty sure though that I saw one in one of these asteroid fields before. Bop around here. Ferris cluster. That seems like a place that might have metal rich ore. Let's try that. And that D1 fuel doesn't take up too much space, so that's good. Maybe that's its advantage. Takes up less space. I don't know. I'll have to see. I don't have any of the unstable fuel with me right now. All right. Ooh, so we're next to a gas giant that is huge. Takes up full screen. Metal rich ore. All right. Here we go. It is surrounded by some more rogue drones, but they didn't seem to find me before. Oh, we can actually mine from way out here. I think we needed 50. Okay, optimal range is 15 kilometers, so actually we don't need to get very close at all. So we need 50. We'll go ahead and mine 150 just in case we need, say, 100 for something else. And then we're gonna go back to wherever I got my other stuff built since it's a nice quiet little corner there. Right, and then so now I have 2 refineries and 2 storage. I wish you could rename these so you knew like which one was which, but I think it was the second one. We'll do one more jump. We'll build this thing since this is kind of our like starting base kind of thing. And then probably end this video. Don't want to get too long on here. cruise over a little closer. Now, this being a survival game, I'm in like the newbie starting area here, so maybe I'm safe here. I don't know if I'm alone in this starting system or if other players could be here. But this is like a survival, hardcore, in a sense, PvP thing where, yeah, someone could show up and attack my stuff and blow it up. But here at the very beginning, everyone's still starting out just like me, so I don't expect anyone to show up. But this seems like a nice, quiet little corner. Anyone coming here is just looking for the basics, so surely they wouldn't bother me. All right, so now we can build our refuge. Plop it right there. Okay, and then we want to build a printer. Gonna let us manufacture things. I'll probably save that I'll do another video. I don't want this one, I don't like them to get too long, so the next video I'll do that. Build a printer and then start building some stuff. But we will finish our refuge here just because it seems like a nice stopping point. We'll see what it can do. And if we hit Alt F or click there, so fitting, so this is where you can kind of equip your ship with different modules and things. And right now, this is, of course, is the starting ship that I got, so there's not a whole lot to it. We could add one more, there's slots, so there is, up here we have a turret hardpoint, we just have the one, so we have the cutting laser, which is not much of a weapon. It's mostly just for basic mining, and then you have to put a lens in it, so that's something we'll have to manufacture at some point, is more lenses, because our current one is down to 95%, and then we have one spare. And then over here we have like our engine, and then here we have 3 mid slots, so you could equip different things there. We have the afterburner and the whole repair that we started with, and then there's an empty slot. We could probably manufacture something to put in there. There's all kinds of things you can add to make your ship better for combat, better for industry, better just to go faster for exploring, different types of things. There's all kinds of options, but we'll get to those as we go. But let's see, now that we have this refuge built, interact with it. So this is kind of like our hangar where we can store ships or change their fittings out. I'm sure they're still there. In the old version I played, there was like space stations that already existed, and you could go into like this giant space station and do your fittings and buy and sell stuff there, which so I haven't encountered that yet. So definitely the new player experience is a little different than it was before, because there you kind of easiest way was to go out and mine some stuff and sell it to buy some things, where here seems to be putting it more on you doing your own refitting out in the field. But yeah, so I'll stop this video here. Next video, we'll build the printer, and we'll see about constructing some items, maybe equipping our ship, filling out that last slot that we have with something else, and then we'll see where it takes us. Like I said, I've played it some before, but this is a big update, added a lot of new things, and it changed the whole starting game, so it's very different now so far. All right, so thanks for watching. Be sure and hit subscribe. I'm going to do some more videos on this just because I think this is a really cool game. Very interesting. I feel like I'm kind of getting in on the ground floor, whereas EVE Online, I felt like I missed the gate on it, and I was always playing catch up. This is something brand new, so we can get into it and kind of learn how it works. And there's still the higher level stuff is kind of mysterious to me still, of like eventually you'll be able to program like turrets and containers and automate things, and it's kind of, you can copy what other people do or like buy it from them. I don't know. And there's like blockchain stuff, which I don't really understand how that plays into it, but basically it gives you some more control over objects in the game than you get in most other games, where you can kind of design something to function the way you want it to, or copy what someone else did if you don't want to mess with all that. But anyway, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.